let's get started. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. So let me know once you see my screen. I hope you are able to see the screen. So let me introduce myself. Guys, you are able to hear me, right?
We are seeing a double screen, like a screen over screen.
1 minute. How about now? Is it better?
Yeah.
Fine. So let me introduce myself. So I'm Ravi. I have close to 30 years of experience in writing. So I'm into online trainings in the past close to 10 years. And I have trained many channels in different technologies. And I started working on Snowflake the past 3 years. So content in a way, architect for a bank. Salim. Yeah. Hi, Salim. So I was just introducing myself.
Hello.
So these are the hi. So these are the different technologies that I'm currently working on. And so before jumping into Snowflake, so I just want to hear from you. Do you guys have any idea on SQL? Because to learn Snowflake, SQL is a prerequisite. Hi, Kaushal. So I just want to hear from you. Like, do you guys have any idea on SQL or any database or data warehousing technology knowledge?
Actually, I'm having while I'm doing graduation. Currently, I'm doing other testing.
Okay, fine. Yes, yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Actually, this is on-cloud data. Is it correct?
Right. Yeah, I'll come to that. I'll give you the.
Actually, I need some clarification from you. My background is currently working as Oracle PSP developer. Okay. So the SQL is similar. That is like very nice SQL, but common for all the database applications.
Right.
So apart from PLSQL, TSQL part, we may be slight syntax or voice might be different.
Right. I'll just go.
What is the difference between informatic and ops, right? So I need what is the difference between the informatic and this?
Snowflake. Yeah, I'll cover that. Yeah, I'll set the agenda first.
So Ravi, I'm Naveen. So I have like over 20 years experience primarily into SAP, BW, HANA.
Okay.
I'm planning to migrate to Snowflake. So that's the reason why I'm in this call to understand more about Snowflake capabilities.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. So before jumping into Snowflake, so I'll just for the 5 minutes I'll just give you the basics on the different terminologies, just for the people who don't have background on SQL. So let me just give you these details. So let's say there is a bank called Bank of America. So let's assume they are giving different services to the customers. They are into insurance, banking, and loans. Okay. So to differentiate their services, they have different branches. Right? Insurance is different branch. Even banking, there will be a different branch. Okay. So the reason why they segregated is it's a service that they are offering is different. Okay. Similarly, to store their customer information, let's assume they have around let's say 1 million customers. Okay. And to store their customer information, they require a database. So basically, database is nothing but it will be used to store the data. Okay. So in database, we have different schemas. Okay. So like we segregated the business right into different units. Similarly, in database, you have different schemas to differentiate the data actually. Okay. And the point is, so a database will have different schemas. So what exactly a schema will contain? I think you might have heard about different databases in the market, right? So we have Oracle is there, SQL Server, okay? And we have Teradata, we have MySQL, okay? And we have DB2 is there, okay? So if we take these are the different databases that are available in the market. So any database, the data will be stored in the tables, okay? So when I say table, you have rows and columns. So what you need to understand is database will have different schemas. Schemas will have different objects. So So what are different objects we have? So maybe you might have heard about this tables, views, procedures, functions. Like this, we have different database objects, okay, with respect to any database. So the point is table will have rows and columns, and there is one more term that you need to understand, that is data type. So when I say data type, to store the data in the table, right? So you need to define the column data type. Okay? And there is one more term that you need to understand is on-premise. So what do you mean by on-premise? So let's take this scenario. Just for the 5 minutes, I'll just cover the basics. Then I'll jump to the actual Snowflake part. So let's say you want to start a business, okay? And initially, what is the initial setup that you require? So you need to purchase a software and you need to purchase a hardware, okay? Let's say initially there is a software version is let's say V1. So after that, there is a new version comes into the market. Again, you need to upgrade, okay? And you need to do some maintenance activities, okay? So let's assume initially you have purchased let's say hardware like 1 terabyte hard disk and 32 GB of RAM. Okay, after let's say 6 months, you feel that your business is growing. So you want to increase your capacity from the existing to the higher capacity. So that is called scale up. The term, okay, you just need to concentrate on the different terms actually. Scale up. So what do you mean by scale up? You are increasing your hardware capacity. That is scale up. If you feel that your business is not growing, so what you can do, you can reduce your capacity. Okay. So this is on-premise. So when I say on-premise, you have to bear the cost for each and every part actually. Starting from purchasing the software, maintenance, okay, upgrading or downgrading, whatever may be the thing, you have to bear the cost. And your servers should be up and running 24/7. So you don't know, right? Let's take Amazon, okay. So you don't know when the customer is going to place the order. So that's the reason you have to, your servers should be up and running 24/7. So the reason is to serve the customers. Okay. So there is a cost here actually. Okay? Now let's talk about cloud edge. So there is a term called cloud. So what do you mean by cloud? So let's say for the similar scenario, if you want to start this business and you require this capacity. So what you need to do is you need to approach. There are some cloud providers, AWS, Azure, and GCP. I'm just naming the major providers. So you can approach any of these cloud providers and you can place the request. So what they're going to do is, so on behalf of you, they will prepare the environment. Okay? You no need to purchase any hardware, software, no need to do any kind of maintenance activity. Everything will be taken care by the respective cloud provider. Okay? So even if you want to scale up, yes, you can just need to place a request, they'll take care of. Okay? So the flexibility is there. Okay? And even you can reduce the maintenance cost. Let's say here you are using it for let's say 5 hours. No need to, you have to pay only for 5 hours. What are the services that you're going to consume, you have to pay only for that. So there is a flexibility and there is a you can save the cost with respect to cloud. Okay. And let's talk about the different cloud providers who are supporting Snowflake. Okay. And one more thing is you need to understand what are the different forms of data you have. So with respect to data, I think you might have seen data in terms of table size. So the data could be in terms of tables or CSV. So when I say CSV, let me just show you one simple file. So let's take this file. Okay, so this is a CSV file, .csv. It's a comma separated file. So the data can be in terms of a table or in terms of a CSV file. Can you see here? This is one more format, .xml. And there is one more format, .json. Okay. So the data can be in any format, okay, but you have to process that. So with respect to Snowflake, okay, so the data can be in any format, you can handle that. So these are the different forms of the data. You have structured format, semi-structured, unstructured, and streaming data. Okay. So we are going to discuss about all these formats. Okay. Now let's see here. So as such, Snowflake doesn't have its own cloud environment. So if I take Oracle, they have their own cloud actually. So Oracle Fusion, you might have heard about it. Oracle Fusion they have their own cloud. If you take SQL Server means it's a Microsoft product. They have their own cloud, Azure. There is one more database called Redshift. Redshift is the Amazon. Okay, they have their own cloud, AWS. Okay, so But Snowflake is also a database. Okay, it is purely designed for analytics. But they don't have their own cloud environment. So that is the reason they are relying on these three cloud providers: AWS, Azure, and GCP. If let's say if you want to install or if you want to work with Snowflake, you need to approach these three cloud providers. Okay, any of these three cloud providers. So they are going to take care of that. Okay? And these are the different regions in which Snowflake is supported. Okay. So we'll just talk about why Snowflake, why different databases are moving towards Snowflake. Nowadays the market is right. So if you take any database, the existing database, so even if I have to talk about my existing system, we have like some inbound and outbound systems. So we have Oracle is there, and outbound is Teradata. So we are migrating everything both inbound and outbound to Snowflake. So the reason why people and different companies or the people who are working on Oracle or SQL Server or Teradata, they are upgrading their skill to Snowflake. So what are the reasons? Okay? So we'll talk about that. If you have any questions, you can stop me, guys. So basically, why Snowflake? Basically, it's a cloud data warehouse. You can call it as a software as a service or database as a service or data warehouse as a service. Okay. And one more advantage is you have to pay only for the services that you have consumed. Snowflake is like it's a initially is 1 minute. After that, they'll charge you per second. Okay. And the storage services are flexible. So we talked about that. What is scale up and scale down? If you increase your capacity, that is scale up. Decrease, that is scale down. It supports all kinds of data, mostly semi-structured data. The data can be in any format. Okay, there is a way to load the data into the respective tables. And one more advantage, it has integrations with cloud services like Amazon, Azure, and GCP. So in Snowflake, you have a concept called stage. Okay, let's say in Amazon S3 bucket, you have a file. Okay, let's say in GCP bucket, you have a file. In Azure container, you have a file. So how you are going to communicate between different cloud providers versus Snowflake? So how you are going to load the data? So that part, that much of flexibility is there, and it has integrations with ETL and reporting tools. So let me take you to a slide. See, look at this slide. So Snowflake is sitting here, and it can interact with the different ETL tools. These are the ETL tools. Okay, so you have Informatica, DBT, Talent, and you can even interact with big data tools like Big Hadoop, Big Hive, even Spark, PySpark. You can get the data or you can send the data. And finally, there is a reporting layer. Can you see here reporting tools? The Power BI, you can send the data to the Power BI and they can generate some reports on top of the data. So there is a flexibility to interact with the different user groups. And also it has integrations with Python. The integrations with Python. Let's say you are working in let's say PySpark or Python environment. So you want to access the data set of let's say Snowflake. Okay, there is a way to like communicate between Snowflake and Python. Okay, and there are some advanced concepts. So I'll talk about this later. Okay, now so with that being said, let me just talk about the different things that we are going to learn. Okay. So we will talk about Snowflake and we'll talk about AWS, Azure, and GCP, and I'll tell you how to create the accounts and how to work with between this Snowflake versus other things. And we are going to work with Python as well, and we'll see IACS, Informatica Integrated Cloud Services. This is one of the cloud ETL tool. Okay, so by using this, we'll see how you're going to load the data from Oracle to Snowflake, and we will work on Power BI. So Power BI, I'll give you like a couple of examples on how you're going to make use of the Snowflake data for reporting purpose. And also we are going to work with DBT, data build tool. So I think you might have seen in one of the slides, data build tool. So that's also it will be used to capture the like change the data. Let me show you that. Yeah. So can you see DBT here, data build tool? So we'll work with Informatica, data build tool. And when it comes to reporting, we'll work on Power BI. Okay, yeah, these are the things that we are going to learn as part of this course. And let's talk about the
A quick question, Ravi, if you don't mind.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And doesn't Snowflake have its own ETL?
Oh, Snowflake. Okay. See. Let's say. See. We have Informatica. Let's talk about Informatica. Okay. So Informatica is a ETL tool. Okay. But Informatica will not store any data. Okay. But Snowflake.
Right. I mean, my question is like Snowflake, does it have its own ETL?
No. It will perform all kinds of transformations.
Right. So there's all third-party ETLs that we need to use.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
So you can extract the data and load it to the Snowflake, and then you can apply the transformations. But with respect to ETL, what you are going to do, you will extract the data from different sources, and within Informatica itself, you will perform the transformations. Then you will load to the database. Okay? So it performs both ETL and ELD activities, Snowflake, because it's a database. It stores the data, and it has a powerful compute mechanism to process the data. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Now, so for any technology, you should understand the architecture. So we have a database layer here, and we have query processing and cloud services layer. Let's say if you want to log into any of the cloud environments, let's take for example, let's say you want to log into Gmail. Okay? So you should have a URL with the valid username and password. Okay. So these three are enough. Okay, you can connect to like the cloud environment from anywhere. Okay? So these three are enough for any cloud. Okay. So I just taken the example of the Gmail. Similarly, if you want to work with the Snowflake, you require the username, okay, URL and password. So what is the architecture content actually? So database storage layer. Okay. So let's assume you have a data in your external hard disk. Okay. The external hard disk is of let's say 1 terabyte. And let's assume you have 3 computers. One computer with 4 GB RAM, and there is one more PC with let's say 8 GB RAM, and there is one more computer with 16 GB RAM. So we know that if I connect my external hard disk to this PC, I get more performance. Okay, I can play the videos or I can see the data within no time. Okay, because it's depending upon your RAM size actually. Okay, so it take a similar example. Let's assume this is your database or this is your external hard disk. Let's assume there are 3 computers here. Okay, so remove the keyword RAM. Okay, just take warehouse. You have a warehouse of different sizes here. Okay, this is virtual warehouse 1, virtual warehouse 2, and 3. So what is the purpose of virtual warehouse? Okay, so before that, the database, the main purpose is you will store the data into the database. That is the purpose of the database. Now, what is the purpose of virtual warehouse? If you want to retrieve the data from the database, let's say there is a table, if you want to see that, okay, without the help of warehouse, you cannot retrieve the data from the database. Okay, and another advantage, another significance of virtual warehouse. If you want to write the data to the database, you require virtual warehouse. Okay, so basically virtual warehouse is nothing but it's like a compute engine. Okay, wherein you can write the data to the database and you can retrieve the data from the database. So that is the purpose of virtual warehouse. So how you are going to improve the performance? It will depend upon your virtual warehouse size. So we'll talk about different sizes of the virtual warehouse. But on a high level, database layer will be responsible for storing the data. Query processing layer will be responsible for retrieving the data. So what is this cloud services layer? So you have different components here, authentication and access control. So when I say authentication and access control, let's say I want to log into the cloud environment. Okay. So someone should verify whether the details which I'm giving is correct or not. Okay. So that will be taken care by your cloud services layer. And there are different other components. Okay, so you will get to know couple of components advantages by end of this demo. Now, so let me just show you how Snowflake UI will look like. Then we'll talk about the advantages. Okay. So, you need to attend 2 demos to understand why Snowflake and what we are going to do with that. Okay. So my intention of this current demo is to show you how what is the purpose of Snowflake, so why people are using it, and what are the things that we are going to learn. Okay. So let me just quickly create the Snowflake account. So you need to go to snowflake.com. At the right hand side, you'll see start for free, right? Just click on this start for free. So just see the message. Start your 30-day free trial, which includes $400 of free usage. So it is as simple as creating a Gmail account. So you need to give your first name, last name, your email ID, your company name, and what is your role. So if you create this account, you'll get only 30 days of free trial. After that, this link will expire. There is one more way of creating the account. So that is a student account. Okay, let me show you that student Snowflake account. Okay, sign up as a student. So click on. So if you can create an account with the student, okay, you will get 120 days of free trial. So there are two ways in which you can create the account. One is with 30 days and the other one with 120 days. So let me quickly create. So I need to give the email address. So my role is a data engineer. Let me click on continue. So once I click on continue, you will be able to see the Snowflake editions. Right? So there are three different editions: standard, enterprise, and business critical. So let me show you the slide, what each edition will contain. So look at this slide. So you have standard here, enterprise, and business critical. Okay. So it's too early to talk about all these terms, but on a high level, what I can tell you is, let's say you are planning to purchase a car. Let's assume this is your base variant, this is your mid variant, and this is high variant. So generally, why people go with high variant? Because they can use all the features. Okay. Similarly, Snowflake has given a lot of features. I'm selecting business critical so that I just want to make use of most of the features given by Snowflake. And as I already told you, these are the three cloud providers who are supporting Snowflake. So it's up to you, whatever you want to select, you can select that. I'm just going with AWS. So this is the region. Okay, let it be the default one, and click on get started. So you're clear, right? I'm selecting the business critical edition. I'm going with AWS. Let me click on get started. Now they will collect the information. They are taking the feedback. So why you are going with the Snowflake? So I want to complete my training and certification. So when I say certification, see, these are the different certifications that are available with Snowflake. If you complete the current courses, you can easily clear the basic certification, the one which I highlighted, Snow Pro 4 certification. So that is the base one. So I'll share you the dumps and I'll help you in the preparation. And these are the depending upon your role, right? You can choose if you are architect or administrator, data engineer, scientist. So these are the different certifications that are available. Okay, but the base one is the one which I highlighted. Okay, so that's the basic certification. Let me click on continue. So what you exactly are going to do with Snowflake? So if you want, you can skip this. Okay, so I'm just selecting some of the default options. Click on continue. And Snowflake supports different languages. Okay, so if you take Oracle SQL Server, they support only SQL language, but Snowflake supports SQL, Python, Java, Scala. It supports different languages. What is your preferred language? If you want, you can skip, or else you can click on submit. Done. So I'll receive one email with the with a URL, and from that I can generate the username and password. So let me quickly jump to my account. Let me just forward that the email. So I have the, Still I haven't received the email. Just a minute. Or let me just choose other email. Because I have used this many times. The role is data engineer. Let me click on continue. Business critical, AWS, and I'm checking this box. Training. Submit. Then I should receive an email. It's taking some time. I guess just a minute. It's fine. Let it come. So meanwhile, we'll just talk about the different topics actually. What I'm going to cover. Okay. So as part of the demo, right? So I'll just walk you through what is Snowflake, and in a second, I'm just reading out the terms which are highlighted in blue color. So we'll talk about the virtual warehouse, and we'll talk about the different stages in Snowflake. Okay. I guess I have received the email. Just a minute. Yes, I got the email. Let me scroll down. So you'll receive one email with the username, with the URL. Let me copy the URL. So I know the URL which I want to log in, and I need to click on activate here. So click on activate to create username and password. So I'm just going with this now. Okay. Let me click on submit. Get generated. Get started. Just click on skip for now. Okay. Now, so the UI which you are currently seeing is called. Then there is a name for that. Okay. The name of the UI is Snowflake. Okay. The UI which you are currently seeing is called Snowsite. Okay. So this is available from 2023, and prior to that, okay, you have a URL, you have a UI called Classic UI. Okay. So prior to 2023, you have a UI called Classic UI. Now, if you are working in the real time, you will have access to both these environments. Okay. See, both are same. There is no difference, but the user experience will change. Okay. So now, Snowflake recommends to use only Snowflake, not the Classic UI. Okay. Now let me go to projects here. So I just clicked on projects, and there is a plus symbol here. Click on this and open a SQL worksheet. We'll just try to relate the Snowflake architecture versus the Snowflake UI. If you can observe at the left hand side, we have databases, right? We have different databases here. And if I open the architecture, in the architecture we have three layers, right? So one is database storage layer. So we have different databases here. Similarly, we have different databases here. Okay, so let me quickly create a database. Let's say I'm just creating a database called dev_db. So this is my database. And one more important point is once you create a database, two schemas will be automatically available. So can you see information schema and public? So these are the two schemas which will create automatically. I'll tell you the purpose of that. So now after that, we know that database will have different schemas. So I would like to create a schema. So I would like to create three different schemas. So initially we took this example, right? We have a Bank of America, they have different schemas, okay, insurance, banking, and loans. So let me just go ahead with, let's say, let me just create dev schema, okay, dev schema. So I have created a database and I have created a schema. Now, as I already told you, database will have schemas, schema will have objects. So as of now, I don't see any objects. Okay, so now what you guys are going to learn, okay, so you're going to learn about different or different objects. This is my database and this is the schema, and just click on create. So as a Snowflake developer, you're going to create tables, views, stages, storage integrations, file format, sequences, snow pipes, streams, tasks, functions, procedures. Okay, I have dynamic tables. So these are the different objects that you can create. Okay, these are the different objects that you can create. Okay, so let's quickly create a, see, this is called worksheet. Okay, the area which you are working on is called worksheet. And if you want to execute any command in worksheet, right? So there is an option here, CTRL, control plus enter. So this is the shortcut, or what you can do is you can hit the play button. So this is the play button to execute any statement. Okay, so I'll quickly create a couple of tables. So let me show you that. So I'm going to create a couple of tables here in the current schema. So if I do a refresh here, see, I can see tables, right? So I have created 4 tables, and let me create a few other. Okay. I'll tell you why I'm creating multiple tables. So now I just created multiple tables. So let me do a refresh. Now if I ask you, can anyone tell me how many tables are there? So I cannot able to count it manually, right? So I have multiple tables here. Okay. So if I want to know that, okay, that's where this metadata layer will comes into the picture. Okay. So when I'm talking about the cloud services layer, I logged in with the username and password. So my cloud services layer performed the authentication and it has given me the access. Now, if I want to know how many tables are there, okay, so that's where this metadata will comes into the picture. So if I want to know that how many tables are there, okay, I already told you once we create a database, 2 schemas will be automatically created. Okay, and within this information schema, you have a view called tables. Can you see tables here? So that will give you the information about the tables. So let me just quickly show you that. So let's start from information schema dot tables. I'm just adding a condition here. I'll tell you why I'm adding this later. So if I run this, so I can easily tell there are 14 tables. So here, what is this metadata? Who is going to maintain the metadata? The cloud services layer will maintain the metadata. Okay. Now, so we'll talk about this query processing layer. In query processing layer, we have virtual warehouse, right? Virtual warehouse 1, 2, and 3. What is this virtual warehouse? So earlier I made a couple of points here. So one is virtual warehouse will be responsible for reading the data from the database and writing the data to the database. So we'll see that. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is, see, can you see here there is one thing called warehouse here. run on warehouse. Currently it is showing as compute warehouse, but let me create a warehouse here. I'll tell you what is the purpose of warehouse. Let me create the warehouse. Create warehouse. So dev underscore warehouse. So I have created a warehouse called dev underscore warehouse. Can you see the status here? What is this? It is started. Okay. Now I would like to suspend this. So I'm just doing a couple of operations, but these are not required for you at this point of time. Alter warehouse, dev underscore warehouse. Okay, so I'm just changing one parameter here. So this is not required for you, and I'm doing one more thing here. Alter warehouse, dev underscore warehouse, suspend. Okay, done. Just try to observe this. What is the current status here? It is suspended, right? So earlier it was started, now it is suspended. Now I'll tell you the purpose of this warehouse. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert few records into the table. So let's take this insert. So I'm going to run this insert statement. It's right over here. So I'm inserting the data into the table. So do you think the statement will succeed? So it is throwing an error. Okay. What do you mean by insert here? So indirectly I'm writing data to the database, right? So it is saying, it is giving you one error message. The warehouse is suspended. Okay. So which means the purpose of warehouse is if you want to run any insert statement, okay, you require the help of warehouse. So without the warehouse help, you cannot able to run any statement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to resume the warehouse. So before doing that, let's try to see the status here. The status is suspended. Now I'm resuming the warehouse. So which means the warehouse will start. It is started. So now currently my warehouse is started. Now let's try to run these insert statements. I'm just trying to prove the purpose of warehouse. Okay, let me run this. See, I'm able to run these insert statements without any error. Okay, so let it complete. Okay, so my next requirement is I want to read the data from the database. Okay, so the first point is clear. If we want to write the data to the database, warehouse is required. So that we proved. Now let me suspend the warehouse. I just suspended the warehouse. Now it is suspended state. My warehouse is in suspended state. Now I'm trying to query the data from the database. So let's take this table, viewers table. I just want to see the data from this viewers table. What it is telling, you cannot able to read the data from the database because your warehouse is suspended. Let's resume the warehouse. So now my warehouse is started. Let me query this table. Yes, I can see the data. You're clear, right? So the purpose of warehouse is to retrieve the data from the database or to write the data to the database. Okay, so it is indirectly giving you the like what to say compute to retrieve the data from the database or write the data to the database. Now somewhat we are clear on the cloud services layer, warehouse and database layer. Any questions till this point? Now let's talk about this role. What exactly meant by this role actually? Okay. let me show you that. So when I say role, let's say I'm working in a company, so I am the manager, okay? And under me, let's say Naresh is working. Let's assume Naresh is a, let's say he's a team lead. Naresh is a team lead, and under him, let's say I'm just taking the names, right? We have Vishnu is there, we have Naveen. Okay? This is to explain about the roles, okay? We have Vishnu is there, let's say Vishnu is a senior software engineer, and we have Prasad is there. So Prasad is a fresher, and we have one more person, let's say him, Naveen. He is a consultant. He is a consultant. So in the current example, Ravi is sitting at the top of the hierarchy. So how I am telling? Based on his role, okay? The role is the role is manager. So manager is sitting at the top of the hierarchy, and fresher Prasad is having the least, or he is sitting at the like down in the hierarchy. Okay. So depending upon the role, so the roles and responsibilities will define. Correct. If you are working in a company, this is how the hierarchy will behave actually. Okay. Now let's talk about Snowflake. In Snowflake also you have different roles here. If I expand this, you have account admin, org admin, public, security admin, sysadmin, user admin. See, there is a separate topic for this, but I'll just tell you what exactly meant by this role. So we can take a manager as an account admin. Okay. So account admin will have all the privileges. So after account admin, you can take security admin. Okay, security admin. And after security admin, you have user admin. And fresher, you can take it as a public. Public will be the least role. Okay, public. And you can take this as a sysadmin. Sysadmin. Okay. So these are the different roles you have in your in Snowflake. Okay. So you can relate with this example. So account admin will have all the privileges, and public will be the least privilege. See, Snowflake is a role-based access control. So everything will be driven by the role. So currently, what is my username? With which user I logged in? I think if you can see here, see what the username, right? The username is Krishna, I guess, right? So Krishna is the username. Let's scroll up. I think I have given the username as Krishna, and I have given the password. So my username is Krishna. Okay, what is my role here? Every user will have a role. My role is account admin. See, if I want to know what is my username, I can use a function here, current underscore user. So basically, current user is a function which will give you the warehouse, the user name actually. But what is my role here? My role is account admin. So how can I see my role here? Current underscore role. My role is account admin. Okay. What is the database that I'm currently using? I'm using DevDB and DevSchema. So you can use current underscore database. So this is my database. And which schema I'm currently using? I'm using a dev underscore schema, right? Schema, right? Current underscore schema. So I'm using dev schema. Which warehouse I'm using? Dev warehouse. So I can check that even. Okay. I'm using currently dev underscore warehouse. I can check that. Okay. So this is on the UI part, and so you have different tabs here, right? You have worksheets here, and you have databases here, and you have, can you see marketplace is there? Okay. So we have provider studio. We have different things here. So let's say if I go to partner connect. So when I say partner connect, who are all the partners that are tied up with Snowflake? Okay. See, you can see different tools here. Okay. You have data ops. Okay. You have Alteryx. Okay. And you have DBT is an ETL tool. Okay. You have Hero data. This is also ETL tool. Informatica is there. Okay, and you have material ETL tool, I have talent ETL tool. So like this, there are different partners with Snowflake. So you can check all the partners in the partner connect. Okay, and we'll talk about this later. But let me just show you the course content first. I'm just reading the different terms here. So we have different stages in Snowflake, and we are going to work with AWS, Azure, and GCP. And this is copy command. Basically, this will be used for bulk loading. And what are the different types of tables available in Snowflake? So we have different tables here: permanent table, transient, temporary, external tables, hybrid tables, iceberg tables. Okay, directory and dictionary tables. There are a lot of tables in Snowflake, and we have one more concept called Snowpipe. This is for continuous data loading, and we have time travel. So if you want to like go back to the previous version of the data, right? You can use time travel, and you have a mechanism called cloning option. We have streams. Okay, we have tasks, caching, data sharing. We have different roles, and mostly like other databases, we have procedures and functions here. And we'll work with so a couple of examples on Python and a couple of examples on Informatica. So how to load the data from Oracle to Snowflake, and we'll discuss with the data build tool and couple of examples on Snowpath, and finally, so it's related to the interview preparation. So one of the main advantage why people are going towards Snowflake is okay, it has its own unique features. Okay. I'll just highlight a few of the unique features. Okay, so we have data masking. Data masking is here. Okay, the main thing is you can mask a column, or you can like let's say you can apply security on a column level or a row level. So you can do that. Okay. And you have even you can schedule the different tasks within Snowflake itself. So no need to use any other third-party tools like Control M or Autosys or Apache. So it has its own what to say scheduling mechanism for tasks, and the data retention. I mean, if you lose the data, right? So how you are going to recover that? And it has flexibility to work with different cloud providers, and even you can interact with the different ETL and reporting tools. Okay. So mainly the warehouse, okay, the compute power. So that's where it will drive the show. And one more thing is in Snowflake that it's a columnar format. Okay, the data will store in micro partitions. The data will store in micro partitions. Okay, so in other databases, if you take Oracle, you have to explicitly do the partitioning of the table. Okay, but in Snowflake, the data will store in micro partitions. That is one more advantage. And Snowflake is a columnar database. Okay, it's a columnar database. The data will store in column format, not a row level. It's a columnar format. Okay, so we'll discuss what are the advantages of it. But on a high level, I'm just giving you the information. What are the features of Snowflake and why people are switching to Snowflake? So any questions, please? So the prerequisite for the course is you should strong in SQL. So even if you don't have one area, we'll share the videos of SQL, so you can go through that. And mostly these are the different questions that I can expect from the student. So are you going to cover any real-time scenarios? It's a completely practical oriented. Okay, and I'll share you the what are the materials that I have, and also I'll share the interview questions, and help you in clearing the certification as well. At the end, I can help you.
Like a daily session? Sorry, if you can go back to your previous slide.
Yeah, Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday. If you are okay on Saturday, yes, we can go on Saturday also.
35 days. Okay.
Yeah.
So, starting practicing purpose, I need to use the trial version only. Is correct?
Yes, you can use the trial version. If the trial is expensive,
not like a Oracle, right? Oracle I can download and again use it.
yeah.
So
You see, you can just
this is
yes,
not
yes,
an
okay.
offer.
Yeah. No, Oracle you can install the software, but it is cloud, right? So no need to install. Okay. So you just need to create a new Gmail account and create one more account. That's it. If you are using student version, I mean, you'll have 120 days free trial actually.
So if you use a different email with different phone number,
Not phone number. You just need to use a different email address.
so we can extend.
Not extend. You can create a new account actually.
Okay.
Is there anything from AI ML that we're going to touch, or it's a separate course, or?
AML we are not touching actually, but Snowflake has the AML capabilities, but we are not touching that actually.
Okay.
Even I am not completely sure on this AML part.
So basically, we're going to talk about the Informatica from the ETL point of view and Power BI from the front end and basic table creations in the Snowflake, right?
Yes, there are a lot of components here, a lot of complex tasks. How you have to utilize necessary type 1, type 2. Okay, how you're going to load the incremental and bulk load. There are a lot of features actually. Anything if you can go to the course candidate, I have listed everything.
Okay.
What about PLS and SQL part?
Which one?
SQL is enough, right? Basic SQL.
SQL is enough. SQL is enough.
Okay.
But I'll tell you how to make the procedure. Yeah, I'll tell you how.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking more from the BODS point of view or any SAP ETL. Is there a possibility that we're going to at least talk about it to understand how that needs to be configured?
What is it? Can you please come again? BO?
The BODS.
BO. Business object. Okay.
No. I'm talking about the ETL, the BODS, right? The data services.
Okay, fine. Mm-hmm. No, actually, we are using Informatica here.
Right.
BODs, I'll try this one. I have
like just an example or something.
So, yes. Sure.
The front end is okay. Power BI or anything, that's okay.
Definitely.
Okay, thanks, Ravi.
Mm. 749. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can still see a screen though.
Mm-hmm. Yes.